Calling to order the regular meeting of the Wheeling Plan Commission for Wednesday, January 26, 2022. Please stand for the pledge. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Villanova is not here yet. Commissioner Berkey.
Here.
Commissioner Sprague is here. Commissioner Yednak.
Here.
Commissioner Heiken.
Here.
Commissioner Riles.
Here.
Chairman Johnson.
Here. Ms. Nyes, any changes to the agenda this evening?
No changes.
Citizens' concerns and comments, I assume that these are all with the petitioner, so we have none of those. And we have no consent items tonight. So, moving right along. We have docket 2021-54A, request for variation to reduce the minimum lot size for Lot 6, Atlantic Aviation, 1005 South Wolf, and docket number 2021-54B, request for variation to reduce the lot size for Lot 7, Atlantic Aviation, 1011 South Wolf. Mr. Secretary.
Atlantic Aviation, leasee is seeking the following requests associated with proposed plat of re-subdivision of lots within the Chicago Executive Airport. Docket 2021-54A, variation from Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19-07, Industrial Districts, Title 17 Planning, Subdivisions, and Developments, Chapter 17-52 Variations and Associated Sections to permit a reduction of the required minimum lot size of 40,000 square feet in the I-1 Light Industrial and Office Zoning District to 7,098 square feet for Lot 6 located at 1005 South Wolf Road. And docket 2021-54B, variation from Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19-07 Industrial Districts, Title 17 Planning, Subdivisions, and Developments, Chapter 17-52 Variations and Associated Sections to permit a reduction of the minimum required lot size of 40,000 square feet in the I-1 Light Industrial and Office Zoning District to 39,042 square feet for Lot 7 located at 1011 South Wolf Road. A zoning variation is intended to be a method of adjustment to equalize regulations where the zoning code has created an unnecessary hardship. A variation is designed to allow affected property owners the same rights and privileges that others enjoy in the same zoning district. In order to be granted a variation, a petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how their individual situation is unique or unusual. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request for variation meets the standards established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Thank you. Ms. Nyes, anything on this?
Yeah, so I'll just give kind of an overview of all four of these dockets. So last year we approved a new hangar for Atlantic Aviation, and this project, which is the actual site plan for it, is going to be the fourth item on the agenda. The site plan and building appearance, even though there's really no actual main building. It's for the fuel farm, but before we get to that, we have to deal with some of the Plat issues. So when they came in to do the hangar last year, or a couple years ago, I guess, we had asked them if they could clean up some of the Plat conflicts we have. So if you look on the left side on this aerial, these white lines are all the lot lines. You can see, it's all broken up and conflicts with where the hangars are on the lots because they're actual, leaseholds. If you want them to explain further, I'm sure they can. So what we've asked them to do is clean up. this area. Eventually, they'll clean up the whole airport, but that's a huge undertaking. So right now, they're just doing this portion. And so it was hard to visualize, so I'm going to try and made this extra image here. So these are the 3 underlying parcels that were there before Wolf Road got realigned. So what's happening is we're going to clean it up, or they're going to clean it up, and now what happens is when you take Wolf Road out and it splits these lots in half, you'll end up with those lots on the west side of the road become smaller than the minimum lot size. And so now the actual hangars will fit within actual lots instead of being on all these random little lots. That's really all this variation is about. And that also goes with the next item, which is the plat of subdivision. So I don't know if there's anything you guys want to add to that explanation.
Nothing else to add unless there's any questions.
Okay, well, I guess we'll see if we have any questions. Let's start down with Commissioner Berkey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any questions on this at this time.
All right, and Commissioner Planova's gone. Commissioner Heiken.
Yeah, this is fairly cut and dry. I have no questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Riles.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. No questions.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just was wondering if there are any future plans for lots 6 and 7.
Do I need to swear?
I'm Mike Kurgan with Atlantic Aviation. That would be outside of our existing leasehold, but the airport who owns that property.
It's a public hearing, so I'm going to have to swear in anyone that's going to speak. Do you swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
I do.
And state your name and business address for the record.
George Saka, Chicago Executive Airport, 1020 Plant Road, Wheeling, Illinois, 60090, Director of Economic Development and Strategic Planning. Lots 6 and 7 are owned by the airport, and through a quirk of the intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Wheeling and the City of Prospect Heights, they are actually deeded to the Village of Wheeling. The plans for those are much like the plans for these little cuts and corners and triangles further south. Further north when the Panatani development came in, and they assembled all those homes. The last pieces were the village's corner properties, triangular properties along Wolf Road. So the answer to your question is the ultimate plan is, according to the, in coordination with the village, that there would be a second industrial development, and which would have to assemble those houses and necessarily these triangular lots. Obviously, the airport, we don't have any use for them. We just mow them all summer, every summer, and that's it. So we're hoping that that project takes off and we can sell those to a development and dispose of them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Commissioner Yednick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no questions.
And I have none either. We have nobody from the public to comment, so if there's no other questions and there's no conditions on either of these,
Yeah, no conditions.
then I would entertain a motion to approve docket 2021-54A. We will have to vote on these separately.
So moved.
Second.
Yednick and Berkey, was it?
Yes.
Yep.
Commissioner Yednack.
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. And now we need a motion on docket number 2021-54B.
So moved.
Second.
Yednick, Berkey.
Commissioner Yednack.
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. And now we need a motion to close. Can we close them both together, Mallory?
Yes.
Motion to close 2021-54A and 54B.
So moved.
Second.
Heiken and Berkey?
Is that a voice vote or?
No, you can just do all in favor.
Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Done. Okay, moving on to docket 2021-55, the preliminary plat of subdivision for Atlantic Aviation. Ms. Nyes, you have
Yes.
something to add to this one?
So, staff, me, incorrectly proposed that we would waive the preliminary plat of subdivision and get approval for the final plat of subdivision at one meeting. That is not the case. So tonight, we're going to request approval for the exemption of the preliminary plat of subdivision per the applicable provisions of section 17.20.030. And if that is approved, then the petitioners will return on February 23rd for the final plat approval. Regardless, there's no second village board meeting in February, so they would be going, both projects would then, or pieces of the project would then meet up for the first meeting in March at the village board. So I apologize. So we're just looking for the approval to exempt the preliminary plat of subdivision.
Any questions from the commission on this? Nope. All right, then a motion to approve the exemption on the preliminary plat.
So moved.
Second.
Who was it?
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Yednak?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. All right, now we have 2021-53, the major site plan and building appearance approval for a fuel farm, Atlantic Aviation, 951 South Wolf Road. Again, Ms. Nyes.
Okay, now you guys are on your own.
All right. Just state your name and business address.
Mike Kurgan with Atlantic Aviation, 1011 South Wolf in Wheeling.
Okay?
Oh, sorry, Brian. Ryan Trippon with WT Group, 2675 Pradham Avenue, Hoffman Estates, Illinois.
Thank you.
In conjunction, as Marcy mentioned, we recently completed what's considered Hangar 43, hangar development, hangar and office development for some new airport tenants. And as the second phase of that development, we're looking to install a fuel farm which provides additional capacity as compared to our existing fuel farm today. It's severely undersized with the existing demand at the airport, and in many instances does not allow us to maintain business continuity by running out of product for sale. In addition, this will also provide some safety buffer as well. The existing footprint of our leasehold requires us to operate equipment and fuel trucks in close proximity to operating aircraft. If approved tonight and at the village board meeting, of course, this fuel farm will provide us a little bit of safety buffer in order to provide us the adequate space to stage refueling equipment and of the sort. So today we're looking at the fuel farm that we're looking to ultimately position in newly defined parcel 4. It's to the far north end of our existing leasehold and to the north of recently completed hangar 43. We are utilizing a general contractor that's specified, that's specific niche is aviation specific fuel farms and American Environmental. We can look at some of the visuals, but we've taken into account landscaping, any of the aesthetics. The original design included fuel tanks, 5 fuel tanks that were above ground. Local municipal code required that those tanks rather be positioned below ground, which of course helps the aesthetics driving northbound or southbound on Wolf Road. These 3 images are the southbound images headed down Wolf Road and in conjunction with our existing leasehold. We've positioned several trees and designed some berms so as to provide some screening Although, like, as I mentioned, those tanks will be above ground. The only visual above ground would be a canopy similar to a traditional gas station, as well as a small fuel cabinet, and it's evidenced in this image right here. I'd be happy to answer any questions that any of you might have.
All right. Commissioner Yednick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the very thorough packet. I have no questions.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening.
Good evening.
I noticed, I was wondering why the screening on the kiosk is on the west side versus the east. It's on the east side versus having it on the west side.
Could we see that image?
I think you're talking about,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Essentially, all the west side will be where they're operating. This is the literal only spot that we could put the tank farm from the runway due to setbacks from the FAA. When we placed it there, the tanks naturally went to the further west.
Further west.
And as the tanker pulls in, he'll turn around and come back and fuel. And everything is to the east, or sorry.
To the
Yeah,
west.
Is to the east. Tanks are to the west, so
Yeah.
naturally, if we put a wall there, it wouldn't work. The wall will still help with some wind blowing through there and get some pressure in there that wrap around. So it's really, I know, yeah, we have predominantly west wind out of the west to the east winds, but this does help, and it should help all scenarios for a little protection for when they're underneath there and it is a rain event or windy.
I was thinking more for visual,
Yeah.
it would block being
Honestly,
able to see the actual transfer lanes if the screening was on the west side.
yeah, we're right up against the fence, so we line the road with plenty of trees. Since it's accessed from the hangar, it's a nice, solid row of trees. So that was our effort to block that.
Now, is there actually something physically keeping you from having the screening on the west side? Is it because the tanks are over there? Are you plumbing or,
Another
well, I mean, was there
wall per se, or?
maybe not another one, but instead of it being on the east side, being on the west side? It would not only act as a wind barrier, but then it would also be a visual block or screening where you couldn't see the lanes.
Sure, I completely understand what you're saying. We can take a look at that with American Environmental and see if that is a viable option.
Okay.
I totally understand what you're saying.
Right, yeah, okay, that's great, thank you. I noticed you have the containment troughs on the lanes. And then I also noticed that there's a storm sewer basin right to the east. What do you have for containment of any kind of a spill other than from keeping it from going into the storm sewer basin?
That trench that's in there is closed off. It does not dissipate to anything else, as well as a trench at the low slope, so that brings it back into that trench. Other than that, there's a safety emergency cutoff, and the actual hookup that they hook out into, if anything were to go wrong, something pops off, it automatically shuts off when they're loading up. So Illinois is one of the most stringent on safety precautions for spills. All the fills will have a double wall underneath anything underground, double wall protection, and monitored constantly with a TLS 350. So
Okay,
if there's any spills outside of that, it's going into the grass, unfortunately, but hopefully they're not.
In essence, what you're saying is it's designed to contain it.
It'll contain, yeah,
During a
right.
transfer in that exact area.
Yeah, it'll all go to that one.
Now, does the FAA have to inspect your tanks or anything?
They're not FAA inspected, but there's state certified
Okay.
agencies who do.
All right.
including
And
the state fire marshal.
you're required to have a SPCC plan also?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. All right, I think that's all I have. Yep. That's it.
Commissioner
Thank you.
Riles.
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Heiken.
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Berkey.
No questions, thank you.
And I don't think I had any, let's see. Anything from the fire department?
No, as he mentioned, the state fire marshal will inspect the installation of these tanks and then also the removal of the other tanks when they eliminate that fuel farm.
Fire department's good with the plan? All right, any other questions from the commission? Nope. Marcy, are there any conditions on this?
No conditions.
All right. Then I would entertain a motion to approve 2021-53.
So moved.
Second.
Got it?
Berkey and Yednak?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Yednak?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yes?
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. All right, gentlemen. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we will see you back here on the 23rd for the plat, and then everything back at the board on March, I wrote down the 1st, but I think it's the 7th.
I think it's the 7th.
I think it is the 7th.
But again, the 23rd is just for the plats.
23rd is just for the final plat.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck, guys.
Okay, next on the agenda is docket 2021-27, the major site plan review for building addition for Masters Countertops 363 Alice Street, which we've seen a few times. Ms. Nyes, what's the update?
So I spoke to the petitioner and their attorney. They do have a new architect. So they have provided just today a revised plan, and they're working with the fire department on some egress and exit doors. So they've agreed that they're going to apply for the parking variation. And once they work out the necessary door situation, egress situation with the fire department, then they're going to prepare their variation submittal. So we propose a request for a motion to continue until March 23rd of 2022.
All right. Do I hear such a motion to continue 2021-27 to a date certain of March 23rd, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
Sprague and Riles?
That's
Heiken.
He's got it.
They got it.
Riles?
They were both at the same time.
It was a tie.
All right. Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles?
Yes?
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Yednak?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. All right, moving on. We have approval of minutes of the regular meeting of January 12th, 2022. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Yednak?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yes?
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. All right, other business. Ms. Nyes, any other business to share?
I do not have anything.
What about the next meeting?
Okay, I
Oh,
could
yeah,
share.
there you go.
Yep. The next meeting on February 9th, I was going to say 7th or 9th. 9th is potentially, might be canceled because we don't have any items for the agenda. There could have been that final plat, but that would have been the only thing, and it would have been a 2-minute meeting. So there are a bunch of items for the February 23rd meeting. There are a couple text amendments and some special use requests. So assuming everything, falls in line. We expect a meeting cancellation for the 7th and then a bunch of items on the 23rd. And there is no board meeting on February 21st. So we're not holding anybody up by not having a meeting on the 9th. And like I said, nobody is ready anyhow.
Okay. Commissioner Heiken, any other business to share?
Nothing from me at this time, thank you.
Commissioner Berkey?
Nothing, thank you.
Commissioner Yednek?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I don't have anything.
Commissioner Riles?
Nothing, thank you.
Commissioner Sprague?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You've got some news.
Could we get another reminder put in the Wheeling newsletter for picking up dog droppings?
Yeah, did you ever talk to Karen about that?
No.
I think we have to contact Karen. I'll ask her again.
It seems like once it snows, everyone kind of forgets to, or a lot of people seem to think that they don't have to do it anymore once it snows.
I think it's just easier to see it.
Yeah.
Until you go for a walk and it's been melting.
Yep.
That's all I have, thanks.
You're going to be missing,
Yeah, my
some meetings? I
surgery
don't
has
know.
been rescheduled. I will be missing the March 9th meeting.
okay. And I had no other business. So, we're up to a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Berkey and Heiken. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.
I think Commissioner Berkey had every vote, every motion.